Bucs fans, we have the Arizona Cardinals sitting at 3-8 versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Week 13. Jacoby Brissett versus who's going to be the QB1 for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. In this episode, I'm going to give you guys a game preview. I'm going to break down the enemy of the Bay, the Arizona Cardinals. Also, injuries, who's trending in the right direction to play on Sunday, who's trending in the wrong direction. Also, keys to the game. If the Buccaneers do these three things, no matter who is then at quarterback, I think they come out with the victory. And lastly, all the picks, my picks, Adam Slivon's picks for the Week 13 matchups across the NFL. All that and more on this episode of Fear the Bay. Bucs fans, my Fear the Bay Gunners, welcome back to another episode of Fear the Bay. I'm your host, Daniel Morales. And before we get started, I just want to say I just want to wish you all a happy Thanksgiving to you and your family. Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday of the year. I love to eat, as I stated last week. I'm not a one-plate guy on Thanksgiving too. I'm a 2, 3, 4, maybe pushing it with 5. I try to consume as much as I can. I'm not afraid to say so. But I always have room for dessert, of course. That's the important part. Always saving room for dessert. But I'm thankful for a lot in my life, and I'm thankful for my family. I'm thankful for my beautiful wife. I'm thankful for my little smart, intelligent son. But what I'm not thankful for, unfortunately, is the Sunday Night Football loss that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers suffered in LA against the Rams, 34-7. That was an ugly game. Now, in last week's episode, I stated that the expectation should be that the Buccaneers are going to lose that game, and the hope was that they're going to find a way to win. And I was right, unfortunately. The expectation was that they were going to lose, and they did lose. Did I expect it to look as ugly as it did? Well, not in the first half. The first half was the ugliest. The first half was 31-7. Baker Mayfield goes down before the second, before halftime. Ugly there. Luckily, there's no structural damage. The MRI results came back. No structural damage in that left shoulder of his. No fracture, nothing. So he's good. Now it's a pain tolerance issue with Baker Mayfield. So he's in play. It's not out of the question that he may play against the Cardinals in week number 13. They're preparing Teddy Bridgewater as a QB1 this week. If Baker Mayfield feels like he can deal with the pain and he feels like he's okay, he'll be out there. But Baker Mayfield admitted himself that if it's better for his overall health that he sits out this week, and he wants to play, of course, but if he sits out this week and returns next week against the New Orleans Saints, that if that's what's better for his overall health, he's willing to do that. He's willing to take that risk. For me, I'm not Baker Mayfield. I don't know the pain that he's dealing with, but I don't know if I risk if I'm Todd Bowles, I don't know if I risk putting Baker Mayfield out there against a 3-win team. He takes a bad hit, and now that injury worsens. Now there might actually be structural damage, or there actually is a fracture. He lands up the wrong way again, or he hurts himself in a different manner. I don't know. I just think he's not 100%. He hasn't been 100%, but he's definitely nowhere near 100% right now. I would sit him out this week, run the risk with Teddy Bridgewater and Connor Bazelak out there as your QB1 and QB2, and have him return next week. But again, I'm not Baker Mayfield. If he feels like he can go, if he feels like he's good enough to go out there, then he's Baker Mayfield. He's a man who feels the pain, not me. Now, did I expect, to close out the talking about the Rams game, did I expect Zion McCollum, real quick, to look as bad as he did? No, I did not. Zion is the man that they're paying $16 million a year to now. He's your $16 million or $1 million a year man now. They signed him to a 3-year contract extension before the season began. He's supposed to be your CB1, your cornerback 1 out there, and he doesn't look anything like it. He looked really bad out there against the Rams, and he's looked bad out there for a good portion of the season. He hasn't really blown anybody away, hasn't made much of an impact out there. He gets beat on a 3rd and 18 by Puka Nacua. Now, there was no real pressure on Matthew Stafford, but still, he got beat on a 3rd and 18. He got beat on the goal line for a touchdown, working against Davante Adams. He had outside leverage on Davante Adams. Davante Adams does a little hesitation. He fakes inside. Zion McCollum, he goes for the bait. He goes inside. Davante Adams, the veteran, he goes outside. He gets the reception, scores a touchdown. Just look ugly out there. And Todd Bowles has stated that he has talked to Zion McCollum about these type of issues before, where it appears that he gets bored out there. Now, you're getting paid $16 million a year. You're not a fourth string, a fifth string, cornerback. You're not like watching the game from the sidelines the entire game. You're the starting cornerback on this team. You're the CB1. You're the guy that the Buccaneers feel like they can put against the top corners of top wide receivers of the opposing team. And Bowles, essentially states that when Zion gets bored, his technique slips, and I guess his mind wanders. I don't know what's going on there with Zion, but you're getting paid $16 million a year. You're playing on primetime football. You're playing against one of the best teams in the league, the LA Rams, the most complete team, in my opinion, in the league. You got to bring your A game every week, but especially in a game like that. And there's no excuse that one of your top players is bored out there. One of your starters is bored, and that's the excuse of why he can't keep up with the opposing wide receiver. So I hope Zion snaps out of this. I don't know what's going on with him. I hope everything's okay. Mentally everything's fine, but he really needs to bring his A game moving forward, because in the playoffs, especially, the Buccaneers, they might face a team like the Seahawks, and Jackson Smith-Njigba is going to be one of the guys he has to cover. Who knows who he has to face every single week? But again, you have to bring your A game. You can't have your mind wander. You can't just be bored out there and play like that. Now, let's not be all doom and gloom about the Buccaneers season moving forward. The Buccaneers, I know a lot of people want to be, but we knew the tough 3-game stretch the Buccaneers were going to face coming out of the bye week. The Patriots, the Bills, the Rams. That was going to be really, really, really tough. Now, the Falcons are sitting right now at 4-7, third in the NFC South. The Saints sit at the basement, 2-9. The Saints. Okay, anyways. The Panthers, though, they're the ones competing with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to be the kings of the South, okay? I don't view the Carolina Panthers as a true threat to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think the Buccaneers would have to fully implode and fully lose these really winnable games. But the Panthers are a better team than, many would have expected them to be this season. Now, right now they sit at 6-6. They lost against the San Francisco 49ers on Monday Night Football. In week number 13, they're going to face the Rams. That is an obvious loss. Week 14, that would put them at 6-7. Week 14, that's their bye week. No game there. Week 15, they're at New Orleans. I'm going to give them the win there. They will be 7-7. Week 16, they face the Bucs, and they face the Bucs 2 times in a 3-game stretch. I'll let them get the win there. I think the Buccaneers and the Panthers are going to split that series. That put them at 8-7. Then the Seahawks in week 17, they're going to lose that game. That's going to be an 8-8 team now, the Panthers. And then the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, week 18 in Tampa. I have the Panthers losing that game. They'll finish the season, if everything goes as I predicted, 8-9. All right. Now, that's your kind of bar right there. So Buccaneers have to be better than an 8-9 team. They have to be a 9-7, or what would that be? 9-8, or a 10-7 team, or an 11-6 team. So looking at the Buccaneers games moving forward, week 13, Arizona Cardinals. I would give them the win. They're facing the 3-win Arizona Cardinals. Now, if Teddy Bridgewater is the QB1, that makes it a little bit more difficult to win that game, if we're being honest. So right now, I'm going to give them the win. So they'll win week 13 against the Cardinals. Week 14, the Saints, I have them winning that game. Week 15, Thursday Night Football in Tampa against the Atlanta Falcons. I have them winning that game. So now they're a 7-5 team, 8-5 team, 9-5 team. Week 16, Carolina Panthers at Carolina, losing that game. Then the Miami Dolphins in Miami, week 17. That's a short trip. I have them winning that game. And then winning the week 18 matchup against the Carolina Panthers. So that'll put them at 11-6. And even if they lose one more of those games, 10-7, they're still number one in the NFC South. So I think they're, no matter what, and unless they lose these games out, these winnable games, they're going to reach the postseason. And if they reach the postseason, if the playoffs was to end today, who would they face? It would be the Seattle Seahawks. Are they ready for the Seattle Seahawks right now? I don't think so, but they are going to get guys healthy towards the end of the season. Chris Godwin's coming back here. He came back. Bucky Irving's coming back this week, it appears. Mike Evans, Kalijah Kancey, J-Mac should all return before the end of the regular season, according to Bulls. But let's get to the game preview. Let's break down the enemy of the Bay this week, the Arizona Cardinals. The Arizona Cardinals are going to be without Marvin Harrison Jr., their wide receiver 1, and also their quarterback 1, and Kyler Murray. They're also going to be without James Conner, their RB1. Their RB2 get hurt also, Trey Benson. So they're out there with their RB3 and their QB2 and their wide receivers 2, 3, and 4. And they have a very banged up offensive line. So let's break down the Arizona Cardinals right now. So Jacoby Brissett. I like Jacoby Brissett. I like Jacoby Brissett better than Teddy Bridgewater. So if it's Jacoby Brissett versus Teddy Bridgewater, I like Jacoby Brissett better. Actually, I was looking into Jacoby Brissett's contract situation to see, could he be a player that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers sign this offseason to be Baker Mayfield's QB2, because I like him as a good QB2 option. Unfortunately, no. He's going to be under contract next year. Also, 2027 would be when he becomes a free agent, so maybe then. But, all right, so the Arizona Cardinals offense has been extremely pass heavy, like very, very, very pass heavy. So in the last 3 games, Jacoby Brissett has thrown 150 pass attempts. That's at an average throughout the last 3 weeks of 50 passes per game. They're basically a one-dimensional team. They're a pass team, and they barely run the ball the last few weeks here. Very one-dimensional. So the Buccaneers should be, their defensive line, their pass rushers should be able to pin their ears back for a good portion of the game and get to Jacoby Brissett. And speaking about sacks, Jacoby Brissett has been sacked. So real quick, he started 6 games so far this season. This is going to be his 7th game that he has started this season in place of Kyler Murray. And in 4 out of 6 of those starts, he has been sacked 5 or more times. So and he got sacked 6 times last week in week number 12. I feel bad for the guy because he has an offensive line with so many holes. They're like Swiss cheese. Like, the offensive line is so bad. I feel bad for him. It's really bad out there. Bam Knight, he's one of their running backs. He's their RB3, now their RB1. He's splitting some of his carries with the other running back, Michael Carter. In the last 3 weeks, though, Bam Knight has only had 25 carries. So 25 carries spread throughout 3 weeks. 7, 14, 21, 8. That's about 8, 16, 24. About 8 carries a week. That's not good. And then in total, his partner in crime, his RB2, is the backup running back to him, Michael Carter. He's only had 10 attempts, 10 rushes throughout the last 3 weeks. So that's an average of 3.33 rushes per week. So again, the Cardinals are a very one-dimensional team. They're a pass heavy team. And you're putting your quarterback in a lot of danger when you're a pass heavy team and your offensive line is as bad as it is. As I stated, no Marvin Harrison Jr. He underwent an appendix removal surgery on November 10th. He's going to be out this game most likely, I believe. Greg Dortch. Greg Dortch is one of their top wide receivers now. And he's not that good also, but they don't have many receiving options at the wide receiver position. They have a good tight end, but at the wide receiver position, not much. He's 5'7", 180 pounds. He's their return specialist also. This year he has 3 touchdowns, 192 yards. Not much there, but the touchdowns are nice to have 3. Michael Wilson, another one of their touchdowns, a little bit of a bigger frame, 6'2", 213. He has had this year 71 targets, 47 receptions, 534 yards. He's averaging 11.4 yards per reception, and he has 1 touchdown. So his stats are almost identical to his entire stat line of last year, but last year he had Like last year, he had 71 targets in total. This year, he has 71 also. He had 47 receptions in total last year. He has 47 this year also. He had a little bit more, a few more yards last year at 548 versus a 534 now. His yard per carry or yard per reception average was 0.3 higher. And he had 3 touchdowns more. So his stat line is almost identical besides the touchdowns. And he's going to put up more yards and possibly more receptions and targets and touchdowns, of course, than he currently has right now. Okay. All right. Trey McBride. Trey McBride is one of the best young tight ends right now in the league. And he's getting more targets with Jacoby Brissett, I believe, than he did with Kyler Murray. So this year so far, he has 109 targets. Last year, he had 111 receptions in total, 111 receptions, which was 4th most in NFL history for tight ends. But this year, again, 109 targets, 80 receptions, 797 yards, which is most for tight ends. He's ranked, I believe, 7th overall in terms of receiving yards this year. And he has 7 touchdowns, which is 1st for tight ends also. PFF grades him out. He has an 81.2 overall PFF grade, 4th highest for all tight ends. In the last 5 games, he's averaged 90 yards per game. So he's going to get the ball. He's likely going to score. He's going to be the main receiving threat. The Buccaneers have to stop him. So whether that's Savasi Dennis in coverage or that is Levante David or one of the safeties, Tyke Smith, whoever's up against him, they're going to have a tough challenge working up against Trey McBride. He is one person that the Buccaneers need to focus on eliminating from this game. All right, on the offensive line, at left tackle, they have Paris Johnson Jr. He was the 6th overall selection in 2023 out of Ohio State. He made the Pro Bowl last year, and he is the only homegrown offensive lineman for the Arizona Cardinals right now. So when you see how this team is built, a lot of the players that they acquire are, free agents. This is not a team that's really homegrown for the most part. In really key positions, some of the key positions too. But on offense, at least, they're QB1, Kyler Murray, and the question is out on his future, but he was homegrown, of course, the tight end and the wide receiver 1. But this offensive line, it all starts in the trenches, and your offensive line is really, it's a mixed match of not so good players. But left tackle, Perry Johnson Jr., he is good. PFF grades him as the 15th best tackle this season. In terms of pass blocking, he has an 80.6 pass block grade, which is 6th best for all tackles. He has a 70.2 run block grade, which is 29th. They don't run anyway, so is that even important? Evan Brown, left guard. Evan Brown started off his career with the New York Giants in 2019, then went to the Miami Dolphins, then went to the Cleveland Browns, then went to the Detroit Lions, then went to the Seattle Seahawks, and then last year he came over to the Arizona Cardinals. So again, a journeyman offensive lineman as your starting left guard. He is ranked as the 62nd guard out of 81. So he's ranked 62nd out of 81 guards. Not good whatsoever. As a pass blocker, he's ranked as the 58th best pass blocking guard. And as a run blocker, he has a run block rate of 47.1, ranked as the 73rd best run blocking guard. Not good whatsoever. The center is good. Very difficult Nordic name here. But Hjelder Bjorholt. Hjelder Bjorholt. He's good. 6'5", 310 pounds. He has a 70.3 overall PFF grade. He's ranked as the 11th best center. That is much better than Graham Barton has been this year. He has a 72.9 pass blocking grade, which makes him the 7th best pass blocking center as according to PFF. Run blocking, he's ranked as the 14th best run blocker. At right guard, Will Hernandez, a guy who started off his career, of course, with the New York Giants, was at times the only bright spot, I believe, on the Giants' offensive line for some time. Came over to Arizona Cardinals in 2022. He has an overall PFF grade of 42.2, which ranks him as the 77th best guard in the league. So 77th out of 81. So he's ranked almost last, almost dead last. He's allowed 22 pressures, 6 QB hits, 2 sacks. He's committed 2 penalties. And then at right tackle, Jonah Williams, their starting right tackle, he's out. He was a liability to begin with, in my opinion, but he's out. He's on IR with a shoulder injury. So Kelvin Beachum, he's in, former Pittsburgh Steeler. He has a 54.4 overall PFF grade this year. He's played some time at left tackle too when Paris Johnson Jr. went down a little bit. He has a 60.3 pass block grade, which ranks him as the 56th best tackle, and then a 48.6 run block grade, which ranks him as the 72nd best tackle. So if the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense cannot get 5 sacks on Jacoby Brissett with this horrible offensive line, I'm going to be concerned. But let's get now to the defense and special teams for the Arizona Cardinals. Bucs fans, want to know how you can help this channel, Fear the Bay, continue to grow and expand? Well, all you have to do are 3 simple things, and they're absolutely free. And what are those things, you might be asking? Well, like, subscribe, and comment. Like, subscribe, and comment. When you do that, when you engage with the content, what happens is YouTube's algorithm continues to push this content out to more phenomenal Bucs fans like yourself. So please, if you have not done so already, like, subscribe, and comment. Those things help me out tremendously, and they help our channel, they help our community continue to grow and grow and grow and expand to brand new heights. Let's get back to the video. We definitely do not want to miss that. All right, let's get to this defense now for the Arizona Cardinals, led by Jonathan Gannon, of course. He was the former defense coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles, and also Nick Rallis. Nick Rallis was their linebackers coach, now their defense coordinator for the Arizona Cardinals. But let's get to the defensive line first. So the defensive line is okay, besides a impressive rookie and a aging veteran, I'll get to him in a second, but who's still playing at a high level. So Darius Robinson was the first round pick for the Cardinals last year at Missouri. He was injured for a big portion of last year. I believe he ended up playing somewhere around 3 to 6 games. He's 6'5", 285 pounds. This season, however, he has played a total of 282 snaps. So 282 snaps, keep that in mind. And in those 282 snaps, only 7 pressures he's been able to garner. 7 pressures in total on the quarterback and only 1 sack. So out of those 282 reps, 82 snaps, only 1 has resulted in a sack and only 7 has resulted in getting some kind of pressure on the quarterback. Not what you expect of a first round pick. Dalvin Tomlinson is in his 9th year. He's the nose tackle for that defensive line when they're in base. He started off his career with the New York Giants in 2017. He went to the Minnesota Vikings afterwards, then with the Cleveland Browns last year and in 2023, and now with the Arizona Cardinals. PFF has him ranked as the 104th defensive lineman out of 128 eligible defensive linemen. So he's ranked as the 104th best defensive lineman. He has a 50.7 overall PFF grade. This year, he has 8 total pressures, 0 sacks, 1 QB hit, and 2 tackles for loss. So not really much against the run or against the pass. Not much there. But they also have an impressive rookie, Walter Nolan II. And Walter Nolan has, in the first game of his return, I believe it was against the Cowboys, he garnered a sack in that game. Last week, he caught an interception, kind of just landed in his arms. Though he caught an interception, returned it for a touchdown, pick 6. So he's only played in a few games, but already has a sack, an interception, and a touchdown, which was a pick 6 in total. But Calais Campbell, in his 18th season, 6'8", 315 pounds, 18th season. That is insane. He's 39 years old, and he's still good. He's still playing at a very high level. So this season, he has 5 sacks. He's ranked as the 10th best defensive lineman, so really good stuff there. And he's racked up 23 pressures. He's gotten to the quarterback rated pressure 23 times this season. So really good there. So Calais Campbell, really the one major, success stories, that real impact player on that defensive line outside of Walter Nolan. But Walter Nolan, their jury's still out. You gotta get more film on him and see how he's gonna end up being overall for that Arizona Cardinal defense. All right, so Josh Sweat, he was their big free agent acquisition this offseason. He signed a 4-year, $76.4 million deal. 38 of that was guaranteed. Last year, he had 10.5 sacks in total when you count the regular season and the postseason for the Eagles. That's who he was playing with. This season, he has 9 sacks, so really good. It was a good signing. He has a PFF grade of 78.5 overall. He has 3 forced fumbles, so 9 sacks, 3 forced fumbles, and 38 pressures. Again, he's gonna be one of the problems, but I would say no. I've been saying that I would take Tristan Wirfs or Luke Gedeke over any edge rusher besides a generational edge rusher like a Myles Garrett, for example. But Tristan Wirfs has let a few people slip past his way as of late. He hasn't looked the same. I don't know if it's a lower knee issue or what it is. But last week against Jared Verse, he allowed 2 sacks against Jared Verse. Hopefully, Josh Sweat doesn't get to the quarterback, no matter if it's Baker Mayfield or Teddy Bridgewater back there. All right, Baron Browning. He is the other edge rusher opposite of Josh Sweat, 6'3", 255. He was a 3rd-round pick in 2021. He went to Detroit. He played in Ohio State, so he played with Marvin Harrison Jr. He also played with Paris Johnson Jr. This season, though, he has only 3 quarterback hits, 2 sacks, 22 pressures. He's ranked as a 93rd edge rusher out of 116. So Josh Sweat, he's their premier edge rusher. He's their top guy to get to the quarterback. Him, and on the defensive line is Calais Campbell. All right, inside linebacker, Akeem Davis-Gaither. He's in his 6th season in the league. He was a 4th-round pick. The Cincinnati Bengals drafted him. He signed this offseason with the Arizona Cardinals. He has a 58.2 overall PFF grade, which makes him the 52nd best linebacker. Not good. He has 0 sacks, 1 forced fumble. He's allowing a passer rating of 120. Not good. He has 11 missed tackles. They have a lot of problems on this team, on offense and on defense and on special teams. At opposite of him, next to him, inside linebacker Cody Simon. Now, Mac Wilson Sr., he was the starting inside linebacker next to Akeem Davis-Gaither. He's on IR with a rib injury. So it's Cody Simonin now. He was their 4th-round selection out of Ohio State. If you can't tell, they like Ohio State and they like Philadelphia Eagles, former players or coaches. But this season he has played 202 total snaps. He has 6 missed tackles and has allowed a passer rating of 121.7. So the linebackers have not been good in coverage for the Arizona Cardinals. Now, cornerback. Let's get to the defensive backfield. Will Johnson. Will Johnson has been a very impressive rookie for the Arizona Cardinals. He was their 2nd-round pick this year out of Michigan. From week number 1 to week number 5, he was the highest ranked corner in the entire league. Not like highest ranked rookie corner, but highest ranked corner in general. He had a PFF grade of 84.5 from week number 1 to week number 5. Really good stuff there. Right now, his grade dipped down a little bit. He doesn't have much help because of the fact that the pressure is not really getting to the quarterback much for his defensive line outside of Josh Sweat and Calais Campbell. But Will Johnson has a 75.5 PFF grade right now. He's ranked as the 11th best cornerback, so just outside the top 10 for corners. He's allowing an 85.5 passer rating allowed, and he has 6 total PBUs. He is one of their big bright spots in the cornerback room. Next to him, you have Max Melton. He's 5'11", 187 pounds. He's in his 2nd year. He was their 2nd-round pick last year in 2024. Last year, he only had 3 starts. This year, he's been starting the entire season. He has not been doing good. PFF ranks him as the 109th corner out of 111th. So only 2 cornerbacks have been worse than him according to PFF this season. He has 2 PBUs, and he's allowed 26 receptions in total. At the safety position, they have 2 good safeties. I like their safeties. Now, Budda Baker is not playing at his normal self, And he's made more Pro Bowls than a guy like Antoine Winfield. He's played longer, but sometimes with Buda Baker, I feel like it's a popularity contest just because his name and all that. But let's get to Jalen Thompson first. Jalen Thompson, he's in his 7th year. He has a 70.7 overall PFF grade. He's had 1 sack this year, 1 forced fumble, 0 interceptions. He's allowing a passer rating of 93.1. And remember, the perfect passer rating is 158.3. So he's doing pretty good there in coverage. He has 4 PBUs, and he does have 4 missed tackles. But I'm sure if we look up right now, the missed tackle amounts of a guy like Zion McCollum or Levante David or Savasi Dennis, it'll be much higher than Jalen Thompson's 4 missed tackles. And in Buda Baker, let me not get it wrong. He is a good safety, but he just applied last week. He got his first interception since 2022, playing against the Jacksonville Jaguars and Trevor Lawrence. He has this season a 58.5 overall PFF grade, which PFF ranks him as the 63rd best safety. He had, like I said, 1 interception this week. It was this season. He acquired it last week. He's allowing a passer rating of 110.9, and then he has 1 sack also this season. At the kicker position, Chad Ryland. Chad Ryland is their kicker. His long is 57. This year, he's 17 for 21, so he's doing a really good job there. In terms of punters, they released their punter recently. Pat O'Donnell, he's released. And now Matt Hack is their new punter. He played in Miami. He played in Buffalo. He played in Indy. He played in Cleveland. He played in New York for the New York Giants. And now with the Arizona Cardinals, he's been all around. It's either a long-term answer, I don't know. But he's their brand new punter this week here. All right, so overall, the offense, the defense, not impressive whatsoever for either one of for either side of the football and special teams as well. The Buccaneers are primed to win this game. This is a very winnable game. We'll get to the injuries, we'll get to the keys, but this is very winnable for them. The linebackers, inside linebackers, are not good in coverage. Their defensive lineman, besides Campbell, who's in his 18th season, he's 39 years old, can't get to the quarterback. Their only edge rusher who has been effective is Josh Sweat. He will be much better. You can grab Josh Sweat and you can put him on the Buccaneers, and he'll be their top edge rusher. So he's doing good. He has 9 sacks this season. But really, it's Campbell, it's Sweat, and it's Will Johnson. 3 out of 11 have been stellar this season. The rest, they're just guys out there. They're Jags. Just a guy. All right. Let's get to the injuries for your Tampa Bay Buccaneers. At the time of this recording, I just viewed on X that Marvin Harrison Jr., who had his appendix removed, we talked about that on November 10th, he returned to practice today on Wednesday. So Zion McCollum, $16 million man, you can't be bored out there. Now, of course, Marvin Harrison Jr. hasn't been the elite wide receiver the Cardinals expected that they were drafting when they selected him. But this is a very pass-heavy offense like we talked about with Jacoby Brissett right now. They're passing really heavily. You should expect a lot of targets if he's out there to go towards Marvin Harrison Jr. and also Trey McBride. But we'll see, but all signs are pointing his way. Zion, there's no time to be bored. You got to have your head in the game. You got to make sure you're focused and get the job done. This could be a get-right game for Zion McCollum. He has to show that he is worth the contract extension that the Buccaneers paid him to sign him to. All right, so injuries. Now, this is not the Friday episode we normally do. On the Friday episode, we get the final injury report. This is Wednesday, much earlier. Today was the first day of practice for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, so not much final injury news, but we have a good idea, for example, for some of these players. We don't have a good idea. I feel like I know what's going to happen with Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield, again, no structural damage on that left shoulder. He again, it's a pain tolerance issue. He feels like if it's better for his overall health, he will sit this game out, return next week. But they have Teddy Bridgewater getting the bulk of the QB1 reps. I think he is gonna sit out this week. I think Teddy Bridgewater, if I was to take a guess right now on Wednesday, I don't know. You have to wait till Friday and see the final injury report. But if I was to take a guess right now, he would likely be sitting out this game, and then Teddy Bridgewater will be the QB1 in the matchup. But we never know. You never know with Baker Mayfield. This is a guy that you have to like duct tape onto the sideline to keep him on the game. So we'll see with him. Jamel Dean, it seems like he's in play to return in week number 13. It does not seem like Benjamin Morrison is in play to return this week. He suffered a hamstring injury last Friday, the final day of practice last week. Ben Bredesen, he was back at practice. He looked like he was a full go according to Greg Allman. I would expect Ben Bredesen to return in week number 13 this week against the Cardinals, be the starting left guard for whoever is in there at quarterback, whether it's Baker Mayfield or Teddy Bridgewater. Bucky Irving's the big one. Bucky Irving, he's been practicing the last couple of weeks, but this is a week that it seems like he's going to be playing. This was a goal, get him play this week. I wouldn't expect, and Josh Grizzard has already hinted at this, I wouldn't expect him, if you have him in fantasy, don't start him this week. He's not going to get the normal workload, it appears. It's likely going to be like a Chris Godwin Jr. situation last week where he returns, but he plays 36% of the reps, I believe. So they're easing these guys in. They're not just throwing them out there and giving them their full normal workload. They're building them back up, avoiding them getting re-injured quickly, and just making sure that they can slowly get back into football shape. And then Hassan Reddick was also another big name today. He returned to practice for the first time since he suffered his injury. Again, he didn't make much of an impact before his injury, only had 1.5 total sacks, but he is your $14 million edge rusher. He also was a former Arizona Cardinal player. He got drafted to Arizona. He met Larry Foote there, who was his inside linebacker coach at the time. But Hassan Reddick, I would hope that Hassan Reddick comes back this week because the Buccaneers need some answer at edge rusher. They need some kind of impact player there. Chris Braswell isn't that answer. Yaya Diaby, he's not really, he wouldn't be a guy I would feel comfortable with as my starting edge rusher, like edge 1. He would be a fringe edge 2. He'd be a nice complement to a real, like if the Buccaneers had a Shaq Barrett and a JPP type edge rushers, and then your backup was Yaya Diaby, I would feel really comfortable with that. Yeah, the jury's still out on Yaya Diaby, but he's not living up to the potential that I envisioned for him. But again, Hassan Reddick back this week at practice. Let's see on Friday if he is questionable or if he's doubtful. We'll see how he feels with a full week of practice. All right, those are the injuries. Let's get now to the keys to the game for your Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The keys to the game this week are very simple. They're your normal cliche coach talk because they actually fit this week and they make sense. It starts off with the trenches on both sides for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. On offense, first key to the game, you got to protect the quarterback. Whether it's Baker Mayfield out there or it's Teddy Bridgewater, you got to protect the quarterback. Tristan Wirfs got beat twice last week for a sack working up against Jared Verse. Byron Young got a few sacks. Interior offensive line for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers couldn't hold up. Graham Barton, Michael Jordan at left guard, Dan Feeney at right guard. Kobe Turner had 2 sacks in that game also. So you got to be able to protect the offensive line. Now, the Arizona Cardinals, their defensive front is nowhere near the defensive front that the Rams have. But it doesn't matter. You got to be able to protect the quarterback. And they are facing Josh Sweat out there. They are going to be facing Calais Campbell. They are going to be facing Walter Nolan, who has been an impressive rookie. You just got to make sure you hold up, protect the quarterback, allow the quarterback to have enough time to execute the offense. On the flip side, second key to the game, you got to get to the quarterback now. As we stated, this is a very pass-heavy Arizona Cardinals offense. In the last 3 games, again, Jacoby Brissett, 150 total pass attempts. He's averaging 50 pass attempts throughout the last 3 weeks per game. You're going to have opportunities. They're barely running the ball. You're going to have opportunities for if Hassan Reddick's out there, if it's Yaya Diaby, if it's Vita Vea up the middle, if it's Elijah Roberts, whoever it is. These guys can pin their ears back, these pass rushers, and know that for the most part, they're going to be calling, pass. So they can just get to the quarterback. 4 out of the last 6 starts for Jacoby Brissett this season, he's been sacked, as I stated earlier, 5 or more times. And I believe there's only been 1 start this season. I believe it was week 11 for Jacoby Brissett that he was not sacked at all. Besides that, he's been sacked in every single one of his starts. And 4 out of 6, 5 or more times. So if the Tampa Bay Buccaneers cannot escape this game with 4, 5, maybe even 6 sacks, I'm going to be very, very, very concerned with the pass rush when you're working against an offensive line that besides the left tackle and besides the center, they have a hole at left guard that they're going to need to address this offseason. They have a hole at right guard, in my opinion, with Will Hernandez that they're going to need to address this offseason. And they have a hole at right tackle, even if Jonah Williams is back or not. They have a hole at right tackle they need to address. No matter who your quarterback is, if it's Kyler Murray or if it's Jacoby Brissett or if you draft a quarterback, you need to make sure you solidify the offensive line for whoever is out there. But the Buccaneers defensive line, their edge rushers can capitalize on this really, really poor, really bad offensive line for the Arizona Cardinals. Lastly, final key to the game, lean on the run game. Again, you don't know who your quarterback is going to be out there, but if Baker Mayfield's playing, he's not 100%. You don't want him throwing the ball 35, 40 times. Lean on the run game. If Teddy Bridgewater's out there, I wasn't impressed with what I saw from him last week against the Rams. Now he's getting a full week of practice this week, but still, I wasn't really too impressed with the hospital ball, for example, he threw in week number 2 of the preseason. Now, he couldn't predict what was going to happen, but Tom Brady he knows what throws are to do or not. Throwing a ball up the middle, a high pass, it's likely not going to put your receiver in a very good position. So again, lean on the run game. Bucky Irving's returning, but he's not going to get the bulk of the reps because they're working him in. They're going to ease him in. But you still have Sean Tucker out there. Rashad White can be a good screen running back, a receiving running back, a third down, a pass blocking running back. I don't like him much as a rusher, but you do have Bucky Irving. You have Sean Tucker out there who can rush the ball this week. Lean on the run game. Again, protect the quarterback. Get to the quarterback for the Arizona Cardinals. Get to the Arizona Cardinals quarterback, Jacoby Brissett. Lastly, lean on the run game. Let's get now to all the games, my picks, Adam Slivon's picks for week number 13. Let's go. Each week, I have been competing with Adam Slivon of Pewter Report to see who's going to end the season with the better overall record in terms of our predictions for all the games across the NFL. Now, right now, Adam has a 2-game lead on me. He has an overall record of 120, 57 losses, and 1 tie. And my record is 118, 59 losses, and 1 tie. So he has a 2-game lead on me right now. And you guys can go follow Adam at Adam Lives On, Adam Livson. Phenomenal guy, brilliant. He does great with his top 10 takeaways also. Always very knowledgeable with his takes as well. So let's get into these week 13 matchups. So there's 2 games we disagree in terms of who the outcome, the winner of those games are. And those 2 games are 2 of the 3 Thanksgiving games that are going to be happening tomorrow if you're watching this, or they already happened for you. But we'll get to those games last. Okay, let's start off with the Cincinnati Bengals versus the Baltimore Ravens game. That's the Thanksgiving night game. Joe Burrow, he's coming back. Is he the real 9? Or Matthew Stafford? Who's the real 9? It's not J.J. McCarthy, unfortunately. But Cincinnati versus Baltimore. We're both taking Baltimore in that game. The Chicago Bears versus the Philadelphia Eagles. We're both taking the Eagles. The Rams versus the Panthers. We're both taking the Rams. The 49ers versus the Browns. We're both taking the 49ers. The Colts versus the Texans. We both have the Colts in that matchup. The Saints versus the Miami Dolphins. Unfortunately, the Saints are going to go 2-10. We both have the Miami Dolphins winning that game. The Atlanta Falcons versus the New York Jets. The Jets have been horrendous this season. The Falcons have been bad too, but I think out of the 2 teams, the Falcons are the better team. They have talent on their team. I don't know what's going on with them because they have talent. Does it come down to actually coaching? Is it just purely execution? What's going on? But they have a lot of talent on that team, but they haven't been able to capitalize on that talent and turn that talent into wins. But we're both taking the Falcons in that game. The Cardinals versus the Buccaneers. Both me and Adam are taking the Buccaneers to win that game. The Jacksonville Jaguars versus the Tennessee Titans and Cam Ward, the number 1 pick. Unfortunately, he has so many holes on that team. He has such a lack of talent that is, whenever you're the first overall selection, now, it's good that you get the most money out of anybody else in the draft. That's good. But you're going to the worst team, unless a team trades up, and they're not the worst team in the league, but unless a team trades up, you're going to the worst team in the league. So it's nice that you get picked first. It's nice that you're getting the more money. But if I was in the draft and if I'm a quarterback, I would secretly not want to go first overall. I want to go like mid to late first round and get in a better position, because you're going to go to a team that is riddled with holes, have such a lack of talent that they were in the position to draft you to begin with. So we're both taking Liam Cohen and the Jacksonville Jaguars to win that game. The Minnesota Vikings versus the Seattle Seahawks. We're taking the Seahawks. The Las Vegas Raiders versus the Chargers. The Raiders just fired their offense coordinator, Chip Kelly. They've been horrendous on offense. We're taking the Chargers in that game. Buffalo Bills versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. I believe Aaron Rodgers should be back for that game. But it doesn't matter, I think, and Adam thinks as well. And Adam is going against Aaron Rodgers. He's a Wisconsin native. He's a big Aaron Rodgers guy, but he's going against Aaron Rodgers in this game, and he's selecting the Buffalo Bills. We both are. The Denver Broncos and the Washington Commanders. Jaden Daniels is not back yet. Bo Nix, he has probably the best offensive line in the league. The Broncos and the Eagles offensive lines are two of the best. And also the Colts have a very good offensive line also. But we're both taking the Broncos in that game. And lastly, the New York Giants versus the New England Patriots. We're both taking the Patriots in that game as well. Now, the two games we disagree on are the early Thanksgiving games. The Packers versus the Lions. And it's not Thanksgiving if the Lions aren't playing. They always play. It's a great thing to always see the Lions playing on Thanksgiving. It's a great tradition. I'm taking the Lions to play in that to win in that game. Adam is taking the Packers to win in that game. Again, a Wisconsin native there. And then the second game that we disagree on is the Chiefs versus the Dallas Cowboy game. Now, every Thanksgiving when the Cowboys are playing, it could be a blowout that the Cowboys are blowing out the other team, and Dak Prescott threw for 400 yards and 5 touchdowns, and whatever running back is 160 plus yards. Or it's the complete opposite. It's feast or famine that they get blown out, and it's a horrible, ugly game where the camera is going to the depressed Cowboys fans in the stands. So we'll see. There really is feast or famine every year with the Cowboys, but I'm taking the Chiefs, and Adam is taking the Cowboys to win that game. So those are our Week 13 matchups. Let's get to the closure now. Let's finish out the show. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode. And again, I wish you all a happy Thanksgiving. If you're watching this post-Thanksgiving, I hope you had a great Thanksgiving with you and your family. Also, if you have not done so already, please like and subscribe. Let's make Fear the Bay a household name in the Tampa Bay area or anywhere that has Bucs fans, because the Bucs fan base, like most NFL fan bases, is international. If you remember, they went to Munich, Germany. There's a lot of Munich, Germany fans. There's fans all over. So if you know a Bucs fan, no matter where they are, if they're in Tampa or not, if they're in the United States or not, send this to them. Let them know about Fear the Bay. Let's continue to grow Fear the Bay here. I appreciate you guys so much. I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to win this game against the Cardinals, whether it's Baker Mayfield or Teddy Bridgewater out there. I think it's going to be a game that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers start to get back right, where they end the 3-game losing streak and they start a winning streak here moving forward. They're going to get guys healthy. It's just win these games, of course, and avoid any more major injuries. That's all I have for you guys here today. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm your host, Danny Morales, signing out. Bye-bye.